Guys, let's talk ZF transmission and the service intervals for ZF, okay? There's a lot of stuff floating around on the internet around when you should service your transmission. I've got the product statement and it's released in 2019, and ZF literally say service it every 150,000 kilometers unless you're towing or driving hard or you have an unknown vehicle history. In that case, you might want to reduce your service intervals. ZF do not specify what those intervals are, and they leave it up to us to sort of specify. And that's why I'll sort of cover in this video a few different scenarios to how you might want to treat your transmission, right? So scenario number one is where your BMW is pretty new and it's under warranty. If it's new under warranty, guys, I would not be touching your transmission, right? I would not be doing a transmission service. Why is that? Well, BMW as a manufacturer, even though ZF says service it, BMW say it's sealed for life, right? It's a lifetime fluid. And if you go around and start tinkering with your transmission and then you cause an issue, BMW are very likely to reject any warranty claims. Very likely, I would say, most likely to reject those claims. And in fact, if you take your car to BMW for a transmission service, I would say that most, if not all, BMW dealerships will refuse that, right? So that's scenario number one. Scenario number two, say you've got your car and you've picked it up and it's used and it's at around 150,000 kilometers. What should you do, right? And this is nuanced, guys. So this video is not about giving you specific advice. This is a discussion because these things are complex. You could ruin your transmission. You could do so many different things, right? So you just have to absorb all this and make your own decision. But scenario two, you've bought a car and it's done around 150,000 kilometers, right? Right where ZF say change the transmission fluid. And if your transmission is running fine, say it's running perfectly, what should you do? If it was me, I would be inclined to follow what ZF has said and do my fluid service. What are the risks? Well, the risks are that your transmission was running really good and now you've opened it and changed stuff and now it's going to play up on you, right? That is the risk. You've opened Pandora's box effectively. And that's where it's a bit complex, right? That's why I can't say one size fits all. If you've got that mileage and your car was running a bit rough, then that service really might help you, right? But if it was running perfectly, then that service has the ability to give you more life, or it has the ability to sort of cause some issues, right? So that's scenario number two. Scenario number three, in this, you've had your car and it hasn't quite done 150,000 kilometers, but you drive it quite hard. Well, in ZF's statement, they do say if you drive your car hard or you have an unknown history, you could lower your intervals. And what would you do here? Well, ZF haven't said exactly what they want you to do, so it's really up to you. What would I do? I would probably change my fluid at 100,000 kilometers. So my M235i, excuse the check engine light, that's not really on, or I hope not, it's just because I've got the start button in there. But my M235i has just done about 66,000 kilometers. So I'm not going to be touching my transmission fluid until 100,000 kilometers, right? And it shifts really well and I've got no issues at all with it, right? And one of the things that complicate transmission services is transmission fluids, or the lifeguard fluid actually has additives, right? A bunch of additives, friction stuff, a bunch of technical stuff. And one of those additives are detergents, right? What does a detergent do? Well, it cleans out your transmission. And if you've got a transmission that's got gunk or metal pieces or whatever, and it's stuck to different areas, it might be okay because that stuff's deposited over time. What happens if you replace your fluid? Well, now those detergents, they start clearing it out, and now you've got a bunch of metal, a bunch of gunk just floating around, and that's where the risk comes, right? So it's a nuanced topic, guys. I've given you three scenarios, but really I could make an hour-long video about it. And this topic is so opinionated because I've given you some facts, right? That 150,000 kilometers, that is a fact, right? That's what ZF has said. And I've given you other facts like BMW, right? They've said don't touch it. And then ZF said you may reduce your intervals, but that's sort of up to you. So this is such an opinionated topic, but I hope that discussion sort of helps you make a decision, or at least adds to your ability to make a decision. Often, one of the big risks is if you've got a perfectly working transmission, whatever mileage it's done, and you tinker with it, you open up Pandora's box, and sometimes you just never recover from it, right? So I'll do more videos about this in future. I'll add more to the conversation because there's a lot of different scenarios, some more risks, but I hope that helped, and I'll join you in the next one.